It's probably not going to be fair on multiple levels to compare Roman Wilson to Puka Nacua, but I'm going to try it today anyway, and I've got reason for it. Good morning to you. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Steelers. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into hockey and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Penguins and Pirates in the same place that you found this. Wilson is 2 inches shorter than Nacua. Wilson is, by most accounts, although this is not as easy to measure as people might think, fast as Nacua, but he's a volume receiver. And as such, particularly given the Steelers' need, and I'm going to keep bringing this up, Mike Tomlin's own stated reference to Nacua before the draft, there could be something here. It's asking a lot. It really is. Nacua was a 5th-round pick for LA, and he just went berserk. We're talking about NFL rookie standards, 105 catches, 1,486 yards, 6 touchdowns, had a touchdown catch in the playoffs for LA. But here's the thing. In addition to the Steelers' clear need and where they would want to have Wilson at the line of scrimmage, which is going to have to be some form of bouncing from inside to outside and back, at least the way the roster shapes up currently, which is what I'm basing all of this on, incidentally. I'm basing this on no other significant wide receiver being brought into the fold. If you do that and you go to his usage this past season at Michigan, and look, nobody makes this point more often than I do, but it's a massive difference between college football and the NFL. But the usage is the thing here. In 2023, Wilson had 48 catches for 789 yards and 12 touchdowns. That's not heavy volume, but it's volume. And that's what you need to see from him. There has to be separation. There has to be, it doesn't have to be a Deontay Johnson level of route running, but there's got to be a lot of that. And he's got to be able to produce the occasional splash. Sometimes that'll be straight line splash. Sometimes that'll be catch and run splash, but he's got to be able to do that. So to the kid himself, since he was just in town this past weekend, his own attitude is that he thinks he can be that guy. He can be that guy right away. He's got a genuine edge about him from the confidence standpoint. You can feel that. And he's also got, for the record, some stuff that Deontay doesn't have and will never have. He's got a physical component to his play. He loves the action. He'll get in and knock people around. And I'm repeating here, he's not the biggest dude, but Hines Ward wasn't the biggest dude either. Wilson has referenced Nacua, and he brought up on his own in his interview session over the weekend that he's prioritizing in his off-season work adding speed. This was what he said to that.
I'd probably say like 50-50 is natural and 50-50 just working hard. I've been working with a speed coach since like 6th grade. I mean, being fast comes natural, but being like who I am now, it's definitely hard work.
It's funny, most people don't think that you can add speed, even though you can, because those same people will say, well, you can add strength. Sure, just get into the weight room. Well, you can add speed. You can strengthen the body parts. You can stretch them out. You can extend your stride. You can do all kinds of different things to become faster. You also can, of course, get with one of these route running gurus the way we've seen on social media George Pickens has done of late. Those guys, that's all they do. Like 365 days a year, they instruct route running. They do it at an elite level. They do it in a way that the Steelers' own coaches couldn't conceivably do with the limited time that they're allotted, meaning by the collective bargaining agreement and so forth with their players. So can this be a thing, this Nacua thing? It can. Is it unfair to put that on him? Yes, meaning on Wilson. But do the Steelers necessarily need someone at Nacua's level? Probably not. It all depends really on how Arthur Smith and everybody else who would be involved in crafting the offense would put together their own priorities. I'll give you a little bit of a hypothetical here. If Russell Wilson says, listen, me and George, we've got a thing going. I'm feeling George. I'm just going to pump the ball to George relentlessly. I saw what he was able to do over the final month. He's not a one-trick pony. He can get all kinds of different yardage for us in different situations, including being that splash guy in his own right. And all I'm going to need from there is like a Robin to his Batman. Well, if that's the case, and you as a coordinator are listening to your veteran Super Bowl winning quarterback, then you go that route and everything's okay. And incidentally, the pressure is off of Omar Khan to go out and get him some Brandon Ayuk type. But from my own standpoint, and bear in mind that my vote doesn't count at all, man, one more, just one more. I'm not being greedy here. I don't think I am. One more wide receiver into the mix. Let the kid breathe. Let the kid become the best version of whatever Roman Wilson is supposed to be. And then enter the season absolutely loaded at every position. Well, at least as loaded as you can be within your current context. When we come back, J1Q.
This segment of Daily Shot is brought to you by our good friends at Mike's Beer Bar. They're located on Federal Street, directly across from PNC Park. Mike has more than 500 beers on tap, including from more than 50 local breweries. Stop in and say hello. Tell Mike we sent you. Mike's Beer Bar.
Today's J1Q comes from Bill, who says, DK, if you were to eliminate names from the conversation about this offensive line, if you were to just go with, for example, rookie right tackle, rookie center, second-year left tackle, that would give anyone pause, right? Well, now consider the fact that the Steelers need to get out to a fast start, and they do. And Dan Moore might still make sense early on. See, yes, Bill, that's what I was getting at on yesterday's show. And I know that's what you're responding to. When I think about the state of this offensive line, I'm stripping away the names. I'm stripping away the scouting reports. I'm stripping away the pedigree. I'm just looking at rookie second-year guy and the two veteran guards. And I'm not really able to get past that when coupled with, and I think this is a fair point to bring up, that Pat Meyer's offensive lines the past two seasons, whether he's had kids on them or whether he's had veterans on them, have taken a while to get it together. And I don't know that that can be afforded. When you're talking about the AFC North being as competitive as it's expected to be, when you're talking about the Steelers' strength of schedule, which is ranked number 3 in the NFL, in large part because of the division that they're in. And, we'll see how the schedule itself shapes up when that's released later today. But when we're going to be talking about the start, we're going to be talking about the younger players. We're going to be talking about Roman Wilson, as I just did. We're going to be talking about this line, probably more tthan anything else. So does this scenario exist in which Mike Tomlin looks at all of this and says, you know what, I'm not ready to deal with all that, okay? I'm going to be open-minded. If Troy Fautanu can come into camp and just knock people over and do what we believe he'll end up doing anyway, but do it right away, all right, we'll talk about it. But 3 of them, and one of those in particular being your center. I know the casual football fan, the one that just shows up at 12:59 p.m. on a Sunday to watch the game, isn't going to get moved much by who the center is. But you, the person who presses play on a podcast called Daily Shot of Steelers in mid-May, you know. And you were the one who was shaking your fist all this past season at Mason Cole, because not only was he putting back lousy snaps, he wasn't blocking well at all, especially on the pass block. So yeah, to your main thrust there, Bill, that's what I'm thinking too, that Tomlin looks at that schedule, at those opening 3, 4, even 6 weeks, and says, I've got more right here. I just might use him. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Steelers. We'll do another one of these tomorrow.